This crispy chicken is from a taco place.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place?
The taco place?
Taco place. It comes in a burrito, too?
From your taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Bronco fans, the new Boise State trading cards are here, and you can only get them at Jackson's.
Start collecting them today.
Jackson's, let's go!
And final blade of grass. Done. And done. Who knew it'd take 2,007 man-hours to paint 47,962,053 blades of grass? Smells like game day. Whoa, it's not dry yet.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN Live is presented by our title sponsor, RoadPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our major sponsors, Jackson's, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, Lithia Ford of Boise, and the Blue and Orange Store. For more coverage of Boise State athletics, check out the all-new BroncoNationNews.com, now part of the 247 Sports family. Now, here's five-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Five-time Brad Bedell. You don't forget it there. Brad Bedell. I know you love that line. BJ Rains, Brad Bedell with you. Happy Monday, folks. Bronco Nation News Live here at BroncoNationNews.com. It's a Blue and Orange Store Monday. Check out the Blue and Orange Store down at the Hall of Fame, down there at the Boise Town Square Mall, or order anywhere in the world at the blueandorangescore.com. And they've got those 208 merchandise and the shirts that the team will be wearing on the helmets for the App State game next week. You can get those at the Blue and Orange Store. And again, online, the blueandorangestore.com. It's a Monday. It's Air Force week. So we got a lot to get to with the team not playing over the weekend, but some of their upcoming opponents. Brad, Air Force in particular, did and lost. Notre Dame did and lost. We got some of that to talk about. We got some coaches that got fired over the weekend, and just some general college football, NFL talk as well. But we'll get into the matchup with Air Force. And obviously, Brad, always a big week playing Air Force, but excited to have you on today. It was good to see you and the family on the weekend. Thank you. We got the rare – Brad must have been pretty far down the guest list to invite my family over to watch some college football. But we came by. The kids ate some graham crackers, and then we headed home. But we appreciate it, Brad.
No, it was good. It's always good to get out in the front and get all the TVs going. We do that every weekend, so it's awesome.
We had all this great, awesome food, and my kids were struggling, and Uncle Brad just goes into his closet and gets a full pack of graham crackers and says, "Here, kids, shut up." And
here you go.
It worked.
It was Halloween early.
That was a fun setup you got, though. We appreciate that. And I was thinking about it, and unfortunately, with Boise State either playing or home or road most Saturdays the rest of the year, that may have been the only one I can attend. So I'm glad we were able to come over and do it. And maybe we'll see if they have a late night game or something, can come over again. But appreciate that. That was a fun time, Brad. And we were watching some great games on Saturday. I mean, that Georgia game going to overtime was a great game. Left and right on Saturday, just some tremendous games. And it finished up with Air Force and Utah State. And Air Force, who we'll really dive into, a little later in the show, but they go to Logan, and we talked about that game there at your house before it came on. I said, what do you think? And it was a 4-point spread for Air Force, and they went down there and fell behind early and never really recovered and ended up having to throw the ball 23 times. And very interesting game there. I came away thinking Utah State's a little better than I thought they might be, and I came away also thinking maybe Air Force isn't quite as good as I thought, but that was an interesting one, and Utah State at home gets the win in conference play.
Yeah, I think, and I know we're going to dive into a little bit later, but it was a perfect recipe for Air Force to beat them. I mean, you got to jump on Air Force early and make them throw the football, period, because they're just not used to doing that. And they, like you mentioned before we went on, they had a lot more passing attempts, even in the first half, than they have had in the past. But if you're forcing Air Force to throw the ball 23 times, they were less than 50. Yeah, they were less than 50% completion, 2 picks. That's not their strength. So, Utah State jumped up, got them on them early. And so that's the result typically when you play Air Force.
Yeah, and a couple interceptions and just didn't go well. And they had a really key one when they were driving there, I thought, to take the lead or at least tie the game late in the third quarter or fourth quarter. But Utah State had a big student section, huge crowd, and they had one of those late night Mountain West games where weird stuff happens sometimes, Brad. And they were able to – Utah State looked pretty good and got the win there. Another Mountain West team on Friday night, if we back it up a night, that leads to one of our discussions, led to a coach getting fired. Jason Eck, New Mexico, goes to UCLA and just puts a beat down on him. And that could have been worse. I mean, I know it was 35-10, but they had at least twice where they got stopped inside the 5-yard line. Eck was really aggressive early in the game. They fumbled once, I think. They had another one that might have got picked off in the end zone or something, but they had a couple times a 4th and 1, I think, where they didn't get it. But, there was one, they were up 7. They could have gone up 2 scores late third quarter and went for it and didn't get it. And I thought, oh man, that's just going to, they played great, going to backfire on them. But then they end up winning by, a couple late touchdowns that made the score look a little closer to what the game actually was. I mean, New Mexico flat out dominated that game. And it was a huge win for New Mexico. Looks like Eck, is going to be able to start building something there. And obviously it also said a lot about UCLA just being awful this year. And they end up firing their coach, Sunday morning.
Yeah. I mean, I hear you. Congratulations to Eck. He's a great guy, great football coach. I get it. UCLA is horrendous. Okay, so UCLA goes to UNLV, gets beat. New Mexico goes to the Rose Bowl.
Only by 7, by the way, at UNLV.
Right. That wasn't – for everybody said they walked into the Rose Bowl. That wasn't the Rose Bowl. They had 12,000 people there. That's not the Rose Bowl is a packed house. That is a UCLA typical home game. That's what that is. So before we put the cart before the horse on New Mexico, UCLA would be in last place in the Mountain West Conference right now. With at 0-2. So UCLA, it just didn't, it always happens, right? And you hate to see it. Not always, that's not fair. It happens more than you think where they pull the trigger, they hire the alumni, and he comes in and as the head football coach, it just doesn't work. And it doesn't work all the time. And obviously UCLA went in big money for a quarterback. And I think we're going to see it more and more, right? You start paying these kids millions upon millions of dollars to bring the quarterback, and he's going to be tagged the savior of UCLA football, and the young man hasn't played very well. And then all of a sudden, okay, well, there needs to be a change at the coaching position. So, Deshaun Foster was an unbelievable running back at UCLA. I grew up 10 minutes from the Rose Bowl. I watched him play in college. But as a head football coach, it just didn't work, right? And this is two, right? I mean, they should have.
People in Boise know all too well about that. The former player, all-star player, and it just didn't work out. Sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Sometimes it doesn't work out. I mean, look at the AD not seeing Chip Kelly writing on the wall about taking off. He expressed how unhappy he was at UCLA.
Yeah.
So you also have to look at the athletic director and where that's going. He just didn't see it, and he pulled the trigger too soon on this one. And UCLA's in trouble.
Yes.
And that's what I mean. Everybody's like talking like, oh, we got to worry about Spencer. UCLA's in trouble with the conference that they play in, and the lack of funding in that NIL space is they need somebody to think out of the box here. And the revenue that the universities can share and things like that, they get Big Ten money. I agree with you that. But that's a classic example of realignment has crushed UCLA.
Yep.
Crushed them.
And they
crushed them.
You talk about a deficit. They paid $1.2 million for that loss to New Mexico there. They paid them and came. And I was reading a tweet from Stuart Mandel over the weekend that I bookmarked here, Brad. It says, Deshaun Foster had to go, but UCLA's problems are much deeper than the head coach with no easy solution. $200 million athletics deficit over the last 6 years. No NIL pot of gold. Complete fan apathy. Big Ten competitors way more invested in football. Good luck to the next head coach. I mean, they have, as you said, they had, 10,000 people maybe at that game, and the fans just don't care anymore. And there's all kinds of other sports options in that city now. And I know there have been, but just people are choosing not to be invested and care about UCLA. And as you said, they're losing money, and they don't have I know they paid the quarterback some, but they don't have a ton of NIL compared to Oregon and all these other schools in the conference, and all the other Big Ten teams are way more invested. I mean, they're not a Big Ten team. They should not be in the Big Ten, as you said. And that, I don't know. We're ripping them as much as we want, and you said they'd be the last place team in the Mountain West, whatever. But I think in an instant, the Pac-12 would take them back if they wanted to come back. I think that they would still make some sense in terms of TV and everything else. And I don't know if that ever could happen or would happen, but UCLA should not be in the in the Big Ten, and that's a huge problem for them going forward, like you said. And as you said, when Chip Kelly left, you don't just leave the head coach of UCLA after going to a bowl game on your own to go be an OC at a school in the same conference. I mean, when you do that, that obviously tells you there's some sort of issue there, and he saw this coming and proved not even 2 years later to be true.
Correct. To go on to win a national championship, now he's the offensive coordinator for the Raiders. So, I mean, good for him. He took off. It's the way it is. But you also think, like UCLA, and this is the way it is right now, and this is the hardest thing, you recruit UCLA, right? So how do you recruit UCLA? Well, you need to go all the way back. This is like the J.J. Stokes, the Mercedes Lewis's, the Troy Aikmans. I mean, UCLA has historically been a very historic college for talent. But kids right now, like, you mean that's the old guy that does Monday Night Football? That's all they know him as. And so you have to look at it like basketball needs to keep football afloat. But the problem is the ticket isn't the UCLA is not getting any money out of football. And if you're not getting any money out of football, it could affect your other sports. And, they've done very well in other things, right? Basketball has been good. I read an article that there's been national championships in the other sports. That's great. But if your door to football, or your door to college athletics is football, right, wrong, or indifferent. And when it's that bad, there has to be a change. And then there has to be something looked at within your whole athletic department, right? I mean, the other one who got fired is Brent Pry. Brent Pry was an unbelievable coach at Memphis. I mean,
Virginia Tech. Yep,
Virginia Tech. And you take off, and this is where you have to be very cautious. It's not always greener on the other side. And now Brent Pry's going to get his whatever millions of dollar buyout. Both of them will, but it's just it doesn't always work. And that's where I think now coaches head coaches moving on need to look at the overall athletic department, the football team, and not just listen to their agent, how they're going to make $6 million a year. That doesn't work, because you can still make millions of dollars somewhere else, win a lot of football games, and then get another opportunity the next year, right? You have to really there's so much more investigating to take the head job rather than just talk to your agent and go, yeah, we're going to get you paid here, Virginia Tech. So this is the way it is.
Yeah, and I saw a list of 12 names and candidates for the UCLA job already. The first list I saw, no Spencer Danielson, and I know Nathan kind of threw out a thing about it, but I don't expect him to at all be A, considered, or B, be a guy that would really. I mean, that's not they could, like you just said, they can pay you more, but that's not necessarily a better job right now. You could say in some cases than a Boise State. But I did see like UNLV's Dan Mullen on there. Was one of the names I saw. Who else did I see? There was a couple other coaches from like Western schools on there, but no obvious candidate. I did see that they threw Jed Fish on there, the Washington coach, because he was at UCLA for a year. But I'm not sure that. I mean, I don't know what they're going to have a tough time. They're not going to be able to go. I don't think you can go. They're going to need to find an up and comer Spencer Danielson type that's ready to be a head coach and ready to take over and do this and work his way from the ground up. You're not going to be able to throw, in my opinion, $10 million and go get one of the best available coaches to come.
No, you can't do that. And number one, the other thing is you need to find an up and comer, however you want to say it, that can handle a Los Angeles media when it's not going very well. An LA Times that are just going to trash you, and so I would not even speculate on Spencer Danielson taking the UCLA job. I won't even really address it because I don't even think he's that type of person, because they're in the middle of the season. And this is the problem right now, is it's all speculation. It's just people want to talk, because if that certain head coach is talking to his agent saying, hey, let's get that UCLA job, and then drops the ball and isn't dedicated to the rest of the season, that's not fair to the other players and coaches, period. And 3, you're going to just start losing ball games and your butt's written off the list right now. And so you also don't understand is that they get these firms that hire these guys, or they reach out and things like that. Well, sometimes the firms don't know what they're doing either.
Yeah.
They spend a lot of money though.
There's a great job. The consulting firms that help hire coaches and stuff that's
correct. So now UCLA is going to drop $3 million to hire a coaching firm to get on a plane and interview a bunch, talk to all these agents, where that $3 million can go back into the football department, and you just need somebody to do the groundwork and hire the guy that you want and get a relationship with the guy that you want, rather than the firm picks 5 of them, then the AD listens to them, and then the decision has to be made in 5 days because of now recruiting. And now the portal window is going to open up. So now we're going to see some interesting things right now on both teams. The portal window opens up today, and we're at week.
They haven't played. They've only played 3 games, so they could still redshirt if they have one left.
Still redshirt. So I am thinking we're going to be inundated. Who knows how many kids are putting their paperwork in now? Remember, the university gets to hold it for 24 hours before it's officially in the portal. And then now all of a sudden, is UCLA going to lose 45 kids? And all of a sudden, your roster is now, you're going to have, 105, 60-something kids on scholarship going into play Ohio State, Michigan, Minnesota, Penn State. Good luck.
Multiple people are throwing out Brian Harsin to UCLA. You know him close. What do you think?
No. I doubt it.
All right. I know.
I'll tell you what. That Cal Minnesota game, and everybody knows I'm a big Brian Harsin fan. Boy, that was entertaining to watch, that explosive passing game. They didn't run the ball great. They only ran for 70 yards or something like that. But boy, you want to talk involving the tight end and having an explosive passing attack. That was fun to watch. And Cal defensively, they've taken another step.
Yeah.
So it's not. I think Cal's in a good spot, but I don't think. I don't know. That would shock me.
Yeah. I know we spent 10 minutes here talking about UCLA, but And I know it says more about UCLA, but that's still a great win for New Mexico. I mean, you can say what you want to about UCLA's program, but for the New Mexico Lobos to go for the New Mexico Lobos to go to UCLA and take 1.2 million and beat them 35-10 on national TV. I mean, you look at New Mexico all of a sudden, and they're, you know, I'm not saying they're going to win the league here by any means, but you know, they only lost by 17, I think it was, at Michigan in the season opener, and they looked competitive in that game, Brad. I think 34-17 was that game. They beat Idaho State, now beat UCLA. Now they have New Mexico State this week, and then they go to San Jose State before they come to Boise State. But it's very possible New Mexico could be 4-1 coming into Boise here in a couple of weeks. I mean, this is that game, whatever the preseason point spread was, you know, compared to what it might end up being. I think New Mexico, all of a sudden, that's a little bit of a more, I don't know if I want to say scarier game, but at least a more intriguing game coming up on the Blue in a couple weeks.
Agreed. But they also, once they step on the Blue, have never been in that kind of environment. They're not even close. Like you would say, oh, well, they played at UCLA. You could have heard conversations with mom and dads in the stands at the UCLA game. So they haven't been in that environment, right? Not even in their home environment. And I don't know, are they play? Well, it doesn't matter. If they're playing at New Mexico State, there's not an environment there either. Trust me, I coach there. It's horrible.
At San Jose ain't going to be a sellout. Come on.
Do they ever?
No.
Thank you.
People are saying it's a scary game now. I will say this, Jason Eck, I mean, obviously with his ties and being in Idaho for all those years and hearing about Boise State and, you know, nonstop, I'm sure whether he wants to admit it or not, that'll be a big game for Coach Eck.
Oh, there's no doubt. No, that's he wants. Coach Eck is one thing, you know, he's an old line guy. And I think relationships, motivation, I think he does a phenomenal job at that. And the other thing is he's the kids, they love him. So that one right there is he wants to beat the best. And then back to back, Boise State is the best. So I think that game went from, oh, they're playing New Mexico to go, oh, that game could be interesting.
And on the other side, I'm sure Boise State fans not, you know, at all sad to hear this one, but it's another tough start for Jeff Choate and company there in Reno. They had a 14-0 lead with 7 minutes to go in the game, or 13-0 lead, 7 minutes to go in the game, and they give up 2 late touchdowns in the last 6 minutes to Middle Tennessee. And Middle Tennessee was 0-2. They come out to Reno and get their first win, beating Nevada 14-13. Nevada now 1-2 on the season. They obviously got crushed at Penn State 46-11, and then they barely beat Sacramento State. They got their one win 20-17 against Sacramento State, where there were 2 touchdowns taken off the board in like the last minute because of penalties. They very nearly and probably should have lost to Sac State. Now they cough up a late lead and lose to Middle Tennessee State. And Nevada falls to 1-2.
Hate to see it for children. They're not very good. They said they can't. They need to. Yeah, that's just all about finishing. And then those kids. And last year, you know, they're closer. They're tighter games, and they were coming out with it. So now they got to kind of look out and say, okay, how are we finishing the fourth quarter, and what do we have to do practice wise to finish games? That's and stop doing prevent defense. I hate prevent defense.
It only prevents you from winning, right?
Precisely.
I mean, that's maybe a story for another day, a topic for another day, but I never understand why teams go 10 yards off or whatever and just let teams come right down the field. Like, it's been working all game. Stick with what you've done. Stop, they stop blitzing. They stop doing everything that got them in that position. And then all of a sudden the team just comes right down the field.
Right. It's because what happens in prevent goes to check down city and then check down. Okay.
Next thing you know, you're 40 yards down the field.
Big play, touchdown. Okay, let's do that again. That drives me nuts.
You look at Nevada's schedule. They now have 2 in a row on the road. They're at Western Kentucky on Saturday, and then they are at Fresno State to start conference play. So you're looking at a likely 1-4 start probably for, I don't know much about Western Kentucky, but going on the road this week. And then they've got at Fresno State, and then they're home to San Diego State, at New Mexico, Boise State at home, at Utah State. They've still got at Wyoming, and then they're home to San Jose and UNLV. Brad, I'll be honest, I'm not sure I see another win or two on the schedule there for Nevada. It's got a chance to be a maybe 1 win left, maybe 2 if they get lucky, but I don't see them at this point, in my opinion, doing any better than 3-9.
The start of the season doesn't build that way. I would agree with you. You got to see them play more and see if they turn it around, but you need to go on a run. And as of right now, historically, they're not prepared to do that.
Utah went to Laramie 31-6. Wyoming falls to 2-1. They were only down 3-0 at the half. I don't know if you were following that game at all, Brad. Utah was only up 3-0 at the half on Wyoming, and you're thinking, okay, maybe there's a chance here for an upset. And then Utah 28-0 outscores them in the second half and wins that game 31-6. You also had Fresno State 56-7 over Southern. After that kind of first game against Kansas, Fresno State's won 3 in a row now, Brad, looking a little better. They're 3-1 on the season. And then Hawaii beats Portland State. I know they're not very good in their FCS, but Hawaii is now 3-1 as well, Brad. They get a 23-3 win over Portland State. And I know none of their wins are super exciting, but they do have a win over Stanford in the season opener. And then they've also beaten Sam Houston and now Portland State. They did lose at Arizona, but Hawaii is 3-1 as well. And as we kind of push it forward into conference play for some teams starting this week, but a lot of teams still in that non-conference phase. You have UNLV going on the road to Miami of Ohio this week, Brad, and that's a weird 10 a.m. game. So 9 a.m. on UNLV's body clock going to Miami of Ohio. That could be an interesting one.
That's terrible. You're going to have to get those kids up about 4:30 their time.
Only a 2.5 point spread for UNLV.
Yeah, that's just the whole. That's one of those things like you hope you start fast, but you better wake up by the second quarter or that game get away from you real quick just because what they got to do with the kids to get them up, get them to walk through, get them to get the pregame in them. You got to get up really early, and those kickoffs are tough, especially on the road. That's really hard. We had to do that. We played Arkansas and had to get the kids up at 4:45. It's rough, and we lost that game. So it's rough. Hey, the game thing with Wyoming, if Colorado doesn't watch it and that defense doesn't improve, Colorado could be in trouble versus Wyoming. If they do not take Wyoming seriously, Wyoming can go in and beat Colorado.
Yeah, that is 8:15 ESPN game. That is a Saturday night. Actually, all three. I'm sure this happens some, Brad, but doesn't happen a ton. But you have Air Force, Colorado State, and Colorado all home on Saturday night. It just kind of a unique scheduling thing there, but you've got the Air Force Boise State game at 5. Colorado State is hosting UTSA at 7:30, and then you have Wyoming at Colorado at 8:15 as well. But I mentioned not knowing if Western Kentucky was any good. Western Kentucky's 2-1. They are favored by 10.5 over Nevada in that game on the road this week. And then you also have Idaho going to San Jose State. San Jose State 0-2, and they are hosting Idaho. McNeese going to play Utah State and Logan this week. And then you have California at San Diego State. So the Fighting Brian Harsons are 3-0. They're going to play at San Diego State on Saturday. That could be an interesting game. That is Cal favored by 12.5. So Cal's looking pretty good to get to 4-0. And then Fresno State at Hawaii in another Mountain West game. But you're right. It's a 12-point spread for Colorado. Wyoming at Colorado this Saturday. That could be an interesting one. But UNLV, a lot of talk. They're 3-0. A lot of people loving them. They're getting a lot of love. But they're only favored by 2.5 and against an 0-2 Miami of Ohio team with that early start time. That'll be a tricky test there for UNLV.
I would agree. The other team nobody's talking about, and I don't know because I haven't even thought about it. Nobody's talked about them. What is San Diego State doing?
What are they doing? They're 1-1.
Yeah, that's kind of the team nobody talks about.
They got crushed by Washington State 36-13 at
and
Washington State.
State's not very good.
And then Washington State went the next week to North Texas and lost 59-10.
Yeah. North Texas is explosive on offense. You know, that's the Mike Leach run and shoot offense. He does a really nice job at North Texas. Incarnate word. He's that one doesn't surprise me a little bit. Washington State's not very good. Oregon State's not very good.
No, I saw someone say that maybe Oregon State, Washington State are the two worst teams and going to be the two worst teams in the Pac-12 next year, maybe with all the teams coming in. I mean, they're both not very good. But if you're San Diego State and you go up to, the Palouse and lose 36-13, okay, Washington State's 2-0. Maybe that's going to end up, not being whatever. And then right away the next week, Washington State turns around and loses 59-10. I know North Texas, say what you want to about them. They're 3-0. I get it. But that does not look good for San Diego State there. And San Diego State has only played 2 games. They're 1-1. They have the 42-0 win over Stony Brook. And they have the 36-13 loss at Washington State. Now they host Cal this week, as I said, and they're double-digit underdogs. And then they go to Northern Illinois for an interesting game coming up in 2 weeks before they start conference play against Colorado State on October 3rd.
Yeah, they're not. I thought they would be. I thought San Diego State. We'll see. I thought they would start clicking a little bit offensively.
I thought just in general, we talked about it at media days with Rid, and I've talked to you about it, but I just think that's a sleeping giant down there, man. It's the city of San Diego and the new stadium they got, and I just think there's – I know, I just think San Diego State football, we obviously see what they do in basketball, dominate this conference for a long time. They're in the top 25 at some point pretty much every year. I don't know why they can't have that kind of success in football with the just the new stadium they have and recruiting to the beach in San Diego. And I thought that Sean Lewis was going to be a sneaky good hire there coming in from Kent State. What he had done before he kind of got screwed at Colorado. And I really thought they were going to take a step forward this year, and we'll see. But that game at Washington State 2 weeks ago doesn't bode well, and obviously a tough one against Cal this week.
I would agree with you. We'll see what happens, but I would say Cal gets it after them pretty good. And they'll have to see what they do in conference play. But that's a team right there that I was a little bit higher on than what they're showing right now.
Surf City Bill says San Diego State season ticket sales went from 15K to 5K. Snapdragon Stadium always empty. New pack is going to be a joke if all the teams look terrible this year. Notre Dame plays Taylor Green the week before they play Maddox Madsen. How about that? Back-to-back weeks because they play Arkansas on the 27th.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Notre Dame's had quite the schedule.
What do you make of Notre Dame? I want to talk Boise State Air Force here in a minute, but Notre Dame, I know that game's a couple weeks away. The team can't think about it, but we can. We're in the media. Notre Dame 0-2. They lose that game on like one of the last plays of the game there, 11 seconds left or whatever it was on 4th down. Should have been a holding call, obviously. I mean, it wasn't called, but they lost the game. It's funny because the one holding call that isn't get made, and yes, it's the difference, Brad, of 1-1 or 0-2. But I've in this business as I've kind of talked to coaches and stuff, like it's the same team, right? It's the same team that's either 1-1 or 0-2. Just because they didn't call a holding penalty doesn't necessarily. I mean, maybe it changes their playoff outlook, whatever, but it doesn't change how good they actually are or what they did earlier in the game. But the fact of the matter is, Notre Dame's 0-2 and going to be in a really tough spot for the tough spot for the playoff here for Notre Dame being 0-2 now, Brad. And what do you make of Notre Dame, where they're at? That was a tough loss for them. 0-2, going to have to probably run the table. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, they're done from the playoff. I don't buy it. Notre Dame's Notre Dame. If they go 10-2, they have a chance to still be in the mix there. So they're going to obviously come out fired up the rest of the season. Probably not good news for Boise State. But either way, a little bit of the luster coming off that game. They are ranked 24th still. They still stayed in the rankings, but obviously an undefeated kind of, top 3 or 4 Notre Dame team would have made that a little more intriguing of a matchup, and it lost a little bit of its luster.
I would agree. I would say the most surprising thing with Notre Dame is their defense. I know they lost a couple of guys on defense, but they've played really good defense, and Texas A&M got after them offensively. And so I think that's one thing that's kind of hurting Notre Dame. And the other thing is I don't know the statistics right now, but that running back was tabbed the top guy in the country. I believe it's Love, I think. And so, running, they're not the most consistent running.
Jeremiah Love, yeah, he's from St. Louis.
Yeah, he's of course he is. But I just they haven't been running the ball very effectively. And so it's a little bit, that's a run first offense. It always has been. And Notre Dame's just struggling running the football, and defensively they've given up some big plays. Now Texas A&M's athletic, but the Miami game, you know what I mean? It's like, and now you got to play Arkansas. And so at least they're scheduling tough games, but when you schedule tough games, you get exposed real early, and they've gotten exposed defensively.
Yeah. And I mean, It loses a little bit of its luster, but also it's still Notre Dame. It's still going to be a fun atmosphere, fun game for Boise State fans. But you probably wanted to go up there and have a chance to slay the undefeated, top 5 giant as opposed to, they're ranked 24th. But is this game all of a sudden a more winnable game for Boise State in your opinion?
Yeah, I definitely think it's winnable. I mean, yes, it's winnable as long as Boise State keeps on fixing what they're fixing, right? I mean, it's not you can't still, when you're going to Notre Dame or after Notre Dame, you still can't be talking about the field goal kicker. You can't be talking about, you know what I mean? They've got to continue to get better, which I fully expect they are. But it's a weird deal because, you got to kind of, that's the problem with this game where it's at. Air Force it's so, because of the triple option, it's such a weird, now it's all on the defense, right? Offensively, Air Force's defense hasn't been great this year, but it doesn't matter. I think as long as Boise continues to improve, they can beat Notre Dame. There's not a doubt in my mind they could beat Notre Dame. I don't see a game they can lose on the schedule if they continue to get better. If they don't, it's just tough games. It's the way it is.
Well, I want to talk Boise State Air Force here for the final remaining part of the show in just a second. But I want to thank a couple of our sponsors that make this show possible. Rowpaint.com. Andy Rowe is out there. Hope you saw him on social media waving Old Crimson. He was out there at College Game Day, went to that Tennessee-Georgia game. So jealous of our title sponsor, Andy Rowe. Rowpaint.com, all your painting needs, those concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting. Make sure you hit up rowpaint.com. Hey, Idaho Central Credit Union, make the switch today at iccu.com. There's a branch pretty much on every corner, but the easiest, that mobile e-branch online banking right there on your smartphone, your laptop, your computer. And they've got 7 NIL deals now. They're back as an official sponsor of Learfield and Boise State Athletics and Bronco Sports Properties. You'll see their logo inside the stadium, outside the stadium. Make the switch today, folks. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. It'll be a Taco Bell night in the Raines household today, early on, probably right after school, as we get set for pitching lessons and flag football practice and everything else that's going on at Taco Bell. Make sure you check out Taco Bell and try their all-new chicken and steak street chalupas, the $3 Chipotle Ranch grilled steak burrito, the new crispy chicken strips, or the Mountain Dew Baja Midnight Freeze. Taco Bell, the future of fast food. You can check out a Treasure Valley Taco Bell location today. Hey, maybe this will be the week, Brad, for the Breezy Bundle or the Jackson's deal with Latrell Capels. When Latrell scores, Jackson's pours. If Latrell Capels gets a touchdown on Saturday, you can get a 49-cent fountain drink the Monday following the game. And if Breezy Dubar can get healthy and get out there and score a touchdown, you get a hot dog and a soda for $1 when Breezy Dubar scores. And don't forget, they got those trading cards, $12.99 right now. You can get your pack of trading cards. We'll be giving a couple of packs away tomorrow night, the Riley and Ridge Show, 8 o'clock. And we've got some other news coming on the RJ Keene Show. That'll be at 7 o'clock right before it. But come on out tomorrow to the James Kitchen and Bar near the stadium. Jackson's presents the Riley and Ridge Show, 8 o'clock tomorrow night. And that'll be on YouTube, but right there in person on the patio at the James. Hey, the Blue and Orange Store online, theblueandorangestore.com. Check them out as well. The Blue and Orange Store got all your great game day gear, jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, you name it. They got it. That new location there at the Allen Noble Hall of Fame. They got the location at the mall. You can order anywhere in the world online, theblueandorangestore.com. The best prices, the best selection, the most official Nike, coaches, gear, everything you want. You can get it at the Blue and Orange Store and theblueandorangestore.com. And Lithia Ford of Boise, lithiafordboise.com. Never a better time to buy a new pre-owned Ford vehicle, and you can do that at Lithia Ford of Boise. Raines family loving our F-150. Jim Sturk, Jamie Drake, they do a ton for Boise State, ton for the community, and you can return the favor, that next car truck purchase at Lithia Ford of Boise. And 2 Monday night games tonight, Brad. You can get on out to Uncle Bob's Pizza in Meridian. They're going to have a raffle at the end of the first game. They're raffling off some gift cards and things. You come out, and every $10 you spend, you get a little ticket, and you put it in whichever team you think is going to win the game. And if they win the game, then they draw for some gift cards and stuff. It's pretty cool. And you're not going to find a better deal for kids around town on Mondays. Kids eat free, and there's no stipulation. Parents don't have to buy anything. Literally, you walk in, your kid can order a personal pan pizza, 2-topping, and it's free. So if your kid's 12 or under, you walk in and they get their own pizza for free at Uncle Bob's. And again, that's, the hope is you'll stay and get some beer and pizza and stuff, but there's no stipulation. Literally, you can walk in, say you want your kids free pizza and leave. I hope you won't do that, but that's just how great Uncle Bob's is. And we're going to be there on Saturday. I think I already announced this, but Kekala Kaniho will be our special guest. He'll join the BNN crew out there on Saturday at Uncle Bob's. and Kekala Canijo will be on the post-game show as well from Uncle Bob's Pizza. So make plans now, 5 o'clock on Saturday for the Air Force game. Join the BNN crew at Uncle Bob's in Meridian. We're going to have some BNN swag. We're giving away a couple hats. We got some shirts. We got gift cards, all kinds of great stuff. Come watch the game, hang out with the crew at Uncle Bob's. Had a sellout, awesome crowd for the first game against South Florida, and hope everybody will come back again. Uncle Bob's, bring the family. They got the arcade. Bring some quarters. The kids can go play the arcade games. You can have a beverage and watch the game with your friends. And they got $3 blue Coors Light. Coors Lights with a little bit of blue dye in there, Brad. I know you could throw down a couple of those. $3 Coors Lights for the game on Saturday. Come on out to Uncle Bob's Pizza in Meridian and be a part of the post-game show and the halftime show and all that good stuff out there at Uncle Bob's in Meridian. All right, Air Force, Brad. Now, I'm trying to remember 2020 or whatever year it was. You were there during COVID, right? 2021. I'm trying to remember the year. I know that was a weird one. That was when Hank Bachmeier was out with COVID. That was you had some other guys out that game, but I know Hank Bachmeier was the big one. But was that the only time you've played at Air Force?
No,
were you there with Colorado at all, or?
No, we played at Air Force in 18.
Okay.
18 or 17.
Okay.
We beat them in 17. Yeah, I didn't lose to Air Force.
There you go. I'm just saying, and so you've obviously been there and seen the scene for an Air Force home game, and they have the flyover, and they have and a lot of this stuff I know you guys are in the locker room for, and sort of the parachute jumpers and the running of the cadets up to the seats, and they have all kinds of cool traditions there. They've done some renovations to their stadium. The far side of the stadium has a whole new. They've taken out a lot of the seats and put in athletic department offices and suites and things, and so it's a whole different looking feel to that side of the stadium. But obviously an Air Force home game, a pretty cool deal. It should be a bucket list thing for anybody to do. And Brad, unfortunately, this is the last scheduled meeting between Boise State and Air Force, with Boise State going to the Pac-12, Air Force, as of now staying in the Mountain West. And who knows what'll happen down the line with conferences and all that stuff. But right now, Brad, what I would call a rivalry. There's been some good games back and forth, and Boise State's won some. Air Force has upset them some and come on the blue and won a couple times. I mean, Air Force is it's always a good, tough, competitive game, and this is the last scheduled meeting here, for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Well, welcome to conference realignment. To say, I always loved. Air Force is its own challenge. Mainly, it's the defense and the cut blocks and just preparing for that. But it's always been a fun game. I would agree with you, a bucket list type deal. It's really cool going into Air Force and watching them play and driving up onto the base or the campus, and just everything about it is like it's special. Those kids, they get a lot of calls and all that, but they're there to play football as well as to serve the country. So I give them a lot of credit for that. Now, I just hope come Saturday they just get killed. Not killed, just annihilated or beat bad, however you want to say it. Yeah.
And it's interesting because on the Riley and Ridge show on Tuesday, somebody asked them about, is it a different feeling playing Air Force? Because in the stands, they said it's obviously a lot different, just with, them being cadets and in the military. And just, it's obviously you respect them for what they're doing. But, and you think of them as this kind of respectful, nice, team. And it sounds like on the field, they're actually one of the more vicious teams that have to play.
Yes. Yep. They're right. Them and the games versus Air Force and the games versus BYU.
What is it about? I think people get the BYU one. They have all the cheap shots and all that stuff. There's a lot of video out there, and everybody knows about BYU. But what is it about Air Force that makes them? Is that just they finally get their 3 hours to cut it loose and not have to be in a uniform and stand that attention? And
that, and I think they have great pride that they're play at Air Force, and I think that's number one. Number two, they do it. It's a physical style of football offensively in the option. And then when we played back then, it was heavy pressure team. And so that just produced its own challenges. And they're very susceptible for big plays. Very. Problem is the defense that they're facing is very susceptible for deep plays.
Yeah.
So I think it's just it's just a game that they take great pride in. You get 3 hours. They don't have to worry about engineering or marching, or they just get to cut it loose and play with their brothers. And I think that they take great pride in that. And I think that's what makes it the greatest thing about going to play them.
And it has unfortunately been a history of Boise State getting beat over the top against Air Force, and they run and fall, get your corners or safeties to fall asleep, and then next thing you know, they hit you over the top. I mean, they were 6 of 9 passing against Bucknell for 2 touchdowns. Obviously, got behind and had to throw it more in that game against Utah State, but they did have at least 5 attempts in the first half. I'm not saying they're converting as many, but they are at least attempting more passes. And I went back and looked while we were talking, Brad, 23 pass attempts last year. That would have been the second most last year. They had one game against Colorado State where they had 26 attempts. 2023, they had one game where they had 24. 2022, they had nothing over 14. 2021, they had 1 of 23. So essentially, they have 23 pass attempts is like they're in their top 5 for the last 5 or 6 years. So I mean, it's not the most, but it's right near the most that they've had in a game in a while. And so I'm not saying they're going to have 23 pass attempts on Saturday, but obviously they're not afraid to throw the ball this year. I mean, I would guess they're 32 pass attempts in the first 2 games is probably the most they've had in a while. I guess last year they had 34, so that takes that off. What is it about? And maybe it's going to be different this year because they're going to be hammering home that they are going to pass more. But what is it about just that triple option that can lull you to sleep and then you can get beat a lot with the pass?
Well, it's because you got to load the box, play man free, because you have to account for the dive, account for the quarterback, account for the tailback, for the option stuff. And then the hard play action, if you don't play with good eyes, the tight end, he's going to slip you and run right down the middle of the field. It's happened to us when we play him. It's going to happen on Saturday. Don't get upset. It's just the way it is. I mean, if you look at Cade Harrison, the wide receiver for Air Force, the longest reception, 62 yards. Quinn Smith, 40 yards. Trey Robinson, 29 yards. So they are hitting the big play. It's just you have to play with disciplined eyes. So it doesn't happen, but it's bound to happen. It happens every game, and that's okay. It's if you don't play with great eyes and great discipline, they're gonna run right by you on a double move, especially interior wise.
And as Blake says, he's being a little facetious here, but he says you get like 3 possessions all game. It puts some stress on the offense as well because you do get a couple less possessions. I mean, there was, Air Force will have 7, 8, 9, 10-minute drives where, you could go 20, 30 minutes without having the ball on offense.
No, there's no doubt. You're on. Their goal is to just first downs. It's 4 or 5 yards in a cloud of dust. Keep going. Just keep going. Keep going. Let's try to throw one over the top. No, just keep going. Can it to the fullback on 3rd and short, first down. It's just those types of things. You have got to get them in 3rd and long. If you can get them in 3rd and 7+, you're out of their comfort zone. Not necessarily Troy. Trey Calhoun was the offensive coordinator when I played for the Houston Texans. So he knows, spread football, things like that. It's just you just don't have the quarterback that can throw the ball consistently in that regard, right? So I think you got to get them in 3rd and 7+, and that's how you get off the field. If you don't get them in 3rd and 7+, it's just going to be a complete grinder because they're going to go for it when they get on the other side of the 50. If it's 4th and 1 or less, they're going to go for it because that's their bread and butter is short yardage and just get 4 yards, move on. 4 yards, move on. Next thing you know, you look up, they've had the ball for 7 minutes in a quarter. So you're going to get only one shot, in that quarter. But the key is if you can get up early. If you get up by 14, they start, we got to start throwing the ball a little bit. They don't pass protect as well, things like that. So that's how you get Air Force out of their comfort zone. It's really how you beat Air Force.
And I don't know if it was you or who was the one that brought this up last week. It might have been you, Brad, but I mean, this is Troy Calhoun's 19th season at Air Force. I can't, off the top of my head, think of too many coaches that have been at their current schools, more than 19 years. I'm sure there's a couple out there that folks in the chat can remind me about, but he's one of the longer tenured coaches in the country right now, 19 years at the same spot.
Yeah, him and Willingham at Utah. He's been there for a long time. So no, they've been successful. Air Force comes in waves. They just come in waves. And some years they're really, really good. Some years not so much. Some years they're eight wins.
What's the mental? Somebody said they get you mentally. What is the mental challenge of playing Air Force on both sides of the balls? You said with the offense having to sit on the sidelines for a while, and that mental challenge of knowing you can't give up possessions. And obviously, if Air Force, you don't want to play from behind against Air Force 2. You give them the lead, and then that running game, it can just be really hard. But also defensively, just having to have your eyes and your discipline. I mean, what is the mental challenge of playing against Air Force?
The mental is number one. You can't press on offense. Like, you can't just take the field and start just launching it deep because you haven't had the possessions. You got to run your offense. And so if you continue to run your offense, that's going to be good. Some coaches, they're like, oh my God, we've only had one possession this quarter. We better start getting a cheap shot or cheap touchdown on these guys, or we're in deep trouble. So they just panic and they don't go, and this is who we are. This is the game plan. This is what we're going to do. And at the end of the day, we're going to win the game. It's just, and then I haven't watched a whole lot of Air Force, just the Utah State game and all that. But there's some interesting things that and I can only look at the stats. Is the other thing is they bring some pressure. They bring a lot of, in the history of Air Force, they've always brought a lot of pressure. And I think that maybe is true this year, seeing how they've got 19 sacks on the year. Or I'm sorry, 9 sacks on the year, right? And linebackers are winning. Like Isaac Hubert, he's got 3 sacks in the year at the linebacker spot. The other linebackers got a couple of sacks. So that's telling me a little bit more pressure this year than normal, than the past years. So maybe they've gone back 2 off an edge, things like that. That's challenging in pass protection, and you just got to get on top of it. So I think they're gonna be an aggressive football team, and defensively at least. So you have got to make them pay if they're going to pressure you. And if you can get some explosive plays.
Hey, Snake River Pool and Spa Patio and Game, thespateam.com. We appreciate them. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. They've been around since 1978. They're part of the Boise State home team. Whether it's a sauna, a spa, pool table, dartboard, they got you covered. Snake River Pool and Spa Patio and Game. Hey, Bauscher Real Estate, #1 ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher. Check him out, BauscherRealEstate.com. We bought and sold our home using Matt and his team, and it was just tremendous customer service. We're loving our home, and it's our forever home, and we're just so thankful to Matt and his team. They did a tremendous job helping us find this hidden gem and getting us top dollar for our sale as well. So Kelly and the whole crew did a tremendous job. I know everybody has 5 friends or family members in this town that are realtors, but I really do recommend Matt and his team. They'll get you the best deal possible. Matt Bauscher online, BauscherRealEstate.com. Hey, Ridley's Family Markets, shop Ridley's.com. 13 locations across the state of Idaho, surrounding states. Download that Skip app for savings up to 40% off of the checkout line. Get more information and find a location near you at shopRidley's.com. Transportation compliance service. Get into the trucking industry at transcomservice.com. They can help you out every step of the way, whether it's a DOT, overweight, all the permits and things that you're needing. If you're looking for a career change, it's a local company helping out folks all over the world. transcomservice.com. Hey, we're pleased to announce that it looks like the RJ Keene Show is going to be getting off the ground, sponsored by Signature Roofing. That'll be tomorrow night at 7 p.m. You can come to the James Kitchen and Bar, 7 p.m. live broadcast of the RJ Keene Show. We'll tell you more about the special guest coming up when that's confirmed, but the RJ Keene Show will be 7 to 8, and then Riley and Rid from 8 to 9, and that'll be Signature Roofing, brought to you. They're covering our community for more than 2 decades, whether it's a re-roof, a repair, an estimate, or an inspection. Check out Signature Roofing online at mysignatureroofing.com, and you can leave us a voicemail for the post-game show coming up on Saturday. Speakpipe.com/BNN. Leave us a voicemail, and we'll play it on an upcoming show. And that includes Saturday for the watch party. Again, 5 p.m. on Saturday. Join us for the Air Force game, September 20th. Boise State's at Air Force. You can come out to Uncle Bob's. Kekala Kaniho, who always had great games against Air Force. You miss a guy with his kind of versatility. He's going to be talking about what it takes on the pregame show, halftime show, postgame show about stopping that triple option. And he's going to be a great guy to have on there from a defensive side. So Nathan, Chris, the whole BNN crew will be out there. And Kekala Kaniho will be hanging out, watching the game, meeting you guys, and then participating on the postgame show as well. That is Saturday. Don't forget they have $3 Coors Lights on Saturdays for the game. We hope to see you there. But tonight, hope to see you out there for Monday Night Football. Ashton Genty going up against Scott Matlock. That's going to be a fun second game of Monday Night Football. They got two Monday night games tonight. And as I said earlier, kids eat free. You can get that free personal pan pizza for your kids. come on out, watch the Monday Night Football action today. They're going to do a raffle after the first game, and you may see the Rains family there for the first half of the second game as Ashton Genty gets going. So that'll be fun tonight. Uncle Bob's Monday Night Football watch party. Hope to see you out there at Uncle Bob's. Hey, Brad, our friends at Circa have the opening lines here for the games this weekend. They're on the screen right now. And how about this? Boise State only favored by 4 points against Air Force. Brad, your first thought, Boise State is -4.
Shocker. I don't understand that, to be honest with you. It's not like they're great. Air Force is great. That I don't.
So you may be calling up your local bookie there. Boise State -4.
No, I wouldn't do that yet. I got to see what happens the rest of this week.
Okay. But initially you like Boise State when they're only favored by 4.
I do. Yeah, I do. Coming off of a big loss to Utah State, I don't understand that line, which worrisome too in itself, to be quite honest.
That is a little worrisome. What does Vegas know that spread is only 4 points? But you see over on the far right side, it's the third one down. Boise State -4 against Air Force. The total 48.5 for the game there on Saturday at Air Force. And Brad, speaking of our friends at Circa, I'm wearing my Survivor hat here. We did lose one of our entries. You and I were part of a five-person entry, which you knew was going to make it tougher to all agree on picks and things. But we tried to take a chance and see if we could have some big upsets. We went with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they did not help out. The young man that unfortunately doesn't know that the ball is live on a kickoff doesn't pick it up. But the result of that was former Boise State running back George Holani getting his first NFL touchdown. He ran into the end zone and grabbed the ball before it went out of bounds. And congrats to George Holani on his first NFL touchdown. But the Seahawks...
No, I love George, but no congratulations. No. And the kid fields the ball. And you're only down by what? 10?
No, they had the ball down 3 at that point, I believe.
Okay, even worse. Cool.
Or maybe it was 7. It was a 1-possession game, and then they gave up. That made it 10. So, yeah, they were down 3. Yep.
Awesome.
Down 3 with the ball.
Yeah,
with
well,
like 10 minutes to go in the game.
We came in second. We're out.
Yeah, you made it to that one. We did make it. We did make it to week 2, but I know you're in another entry with Kent Riddle and some folks. I'm in a couple other entries. Travis Hawks and I are splitting one, and we all went. I believe you went Cardinals, correct? And that was another scary one. But the Arizona Cardinals do advance, and both of our survivors and your survivors, we're still alive for the 18 million. Brad, we're on to week 3.
That's right. I'm just starting to count my money,
as you should. But Arizona tried to give that one away too.
Oh my God. What about that roughing the passer call? What are we doing? Come on.
27-3. Next thing you know, it's 27-22. They get the onside kick and they have a chance to win the game.
Exactly. It was really stressful, but we moved on. So now at this point, Carolina is so bad. Just take any team that's playing Carolina, but that you do that, they're going to upset somebody, and that's going to get you anyway.
Well, there were some unbelievable games yesterday, Brad. That Cowboys game, it looked like when Russell Wilson made that long pass into the end zone, about 30 seconds left, and it looked like, wow, the Cowboys are going to be out. That would have knocked out 20% of the pool. And then they get one pass to midfield, and the kicker there for the Cowboys makes a 64-yarder to send it into overtime. And then it looks like it might be a tie, and we're going to get both teams eliminated because a tie is a loss in the survivor. And then it would have knocked out another nice chunk of people. And then Cowboys get a pass over the middle, and again they make a 48-yarder or something, and the Cowboys sneak one out there.
Yep, snuck one out. Which we haven't taken the Cowboys yet, but the Cowboys look better than I thought they would have.
They were a team that a lot of people took, like I said, 20% of the pool yesterday. They're one of the teams, though, that plays on Thanksgiving, and you do have to save a team for Thanksgiving in this pool. So I know some folks, myself included, might be hoping we're still around to do that. But final thing, Brad, Ashton Genty going up against Scott Matlock in that second game tonight, Chargers and Raiders. Ashton Genty didn't have the greatest stat line in terms of yards per carry or yards in his first game, but the home debut tonight in front of the home crowd on Monday Night Football, Ashton Genty. I know a lot of Boise State fans excited to see him tonight.
Yeah, I hope he runs all over him. I hope he runs nothing against Scott, but I hope he runs all over him. I think I'm so tired of doubters. I'm so tired of everything when the young man's a great football player. It's very hard to be a rookie in the National Football League. and now he's just a horrible football player to people. It doesn't make sense to me. I hope he has 200 yards rushing.
Do you like the Raiders in that game, or?
No, I do not, because of the quarterback for the other team. He's good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Herbert's good.
And you're going to have, and unfortunately, it is a home game for the Raiders, but you're going to have a lot of Charger fans there.
Correct. Yeah, that's the hardest thing about is being a Raiders is it's your home crowd, but everybody wants to go to Las Vegas and watch their team play. That's hard. So, they spend hundreds upon hundreds of dollars on tickets for the Raiders games, and they don't care. So they've been there since Friday. And so now they're just primed up, ready to go for this game. I think it's hard. I don't know. I think they have a home field advantage, don't say, but it's not like an Indianapolis Colts or the Minnesota Vikings wasn't very good last night, but that's a huge home crowd, and they just don't have that, I don't think.
Yeah.
But I think Herbert's one of the top quarterbacks in the league. And so I like the Rams in that one.
Chargers.
I'm sorry, the Chargers in that one. Yeah.
Chargers, I think, are favored by 3.5 in that game. But shout out to the Atkinson's Mirror and Glass, friends of ours, do a lot of great work with the BNN golf tournament and stuff. They actually flew down yesterday morning, got a booth there in the sports book at Circa, Brad, and was sending me pictures. I was real jealous. They're just watching games all day, sitting there in the Circa sports book, and they are going to the game tonight to root on Ashton Genty. So shout out to the that's the cool thing about the connection there. It's what, an hour and 20. We made the flight a couple weeks ago. I mean, it's an hour and 20-minute flight, nice, easy, cheap flight. And you can go hang out at Circa or go watch your team play or watch the Raiders play or whatever. But I was pretty jealous of those guys at Circa there yesterday, having fun all day. I mean, there's not I know you have a nice setup. I've got a nice setup, but nothing beats the setup at Circa there watching the games on a Saturday or Sunday.
No doubt. Did you see what Circa put out of stadium swim at the boxing match on Saturday night? I
did see that.
Oh my Lord.
And then it was even crazier for the NFL Sunday.
It's yeah, I mean, it's really cool. I try to get down there at least once. It's really, really, really cool.
And by the way, the first NFL game, there is 2 games tonight. It is the Texans and the Bucks. Any thought there?
No, that one kind of, the Bucks, you never know what's going to happen. And Houston at home is usually pretty good defensively, mainly because of the head guy. So,
and I believe
I'd stay away from that one.
I believe they're Texans are about a 2-point favorite or something, I think, at home in the game tonight. So
yeah. Anytime there's a hook is what makes me nervous.
Appreciate you, Brad, for jumping on. Thanks a lot, man. Great stuff on a Monday. Mondays is going to be your new day moving forward here. So we will, starting next Monday, have a game to talk about and more stuff. But we were able to fill an hour and 2 minutes without Boise State playing a game. So appreciate you, Brad, for your time and your thoughts. It's going to be an interesting week and a fun week leading up to Saturday's game at Air Force. And we'll have everybody covered at Bronco Nation News and BroncoNationNews.com. But appreciate you, as always, for jumping on and providing your insight, Brad.
Absolutely. Always enjoyable.
Brad Bedell, we appreciate him. Legendary offensive line coach, Boise State, Auburn, tight end coach, former NFL player, obviously has great history and backstory and able to provide a lot of perspective and still has a lot of connections in this game. So you folks are, some of you want to get on there and rip him for his time as an offensive line coach, but I think the majority of you realize that you got it pretty good. Getting Brad on here and the insight that he provides is we're lucky to have him here at BNN. You guys are lucky to have him coming on as an analyst here once a week for not nearly the amount of money that he deserves for doing this.
Yeah, I always enjoy that meat sandwich you give me once a month. It's good.
I thought because of your wife's Venmo, though. I'm not sure you even see it, do you?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right.
It's all right.
Well,
no, she tells me. It's fine.
Either way, you're worth more than that, but we appreciate you for doing it. And
awesome.
It's a fun time, and we appreciate you for giving up an hour of your time on a Monday morning. So go sell some uniforms. Game one, if you need high school uniforms, youth sports uniforms, any kind of promotional stuff. My son enjoyed putting on the football pads at Brad's house on Saturday. So if you need sports equipment, apparel, any of that stuff, game one, reach out to Brad and he can hook you up with some great high school uniforms or whatever else you need for your sports team. So
you name it.
Game one. What's the website? Game one. I guess we'll reach out to Brad. He'll hook you up. But game one is the company.
Company wise, we do everything. Companies, shirts, polos, anything you need, I can probably grab it.
All right, there you go. So Brad is great. They're all giving you props there in the chat. So appreciate Appreciate Brad coming on. Appreciate all the comments, all the folks that are subscribing at BNN. We appreciate you. A perfect week to jump on board. I think it's 30% off this week. You can get on BroncoNationNews.com and get all of our exclusive content all week, leading you up for the Air Force game on Saturday. And as I said, join us at Uncle Bob's Saturday at 5 o'clock for the game. So thanks. We got Spencer Danielson's press conference coming up at noon. We will stream that live. So we'll see you back in less than 2 hours. Right here, wherever you're watching this on the YouTube channel of Bronco Nation News. We will see you at noon. Spencer Danielson, Eric Chenander, and Nate Potter will meet with the media and preview the game against Air Force, and we'll stream that live on the Bronco Nation News YouTube channel. So come check that out at noon, and we'll talk to you guys later. Bronco Nation News live, BroncoNationNews.com. Take care, everybody.
And final blade of grass. Done. And done. Who knew it'd take 2,007 man-hours to paint 47,962,053 blades of grass? Smells like game day. Whoa, it's not dry yet.